Going to work through a sequence of cool down stretches. For this sequence, you're going to need a chair or something to elevate a leg onto, and either a towel or a band. So from here, we're going to start with a groin stretch, and we're going to do a long lever groin stretch. So you're going to come up onto all fours, leg goes out to the side, and then from here, you want to feel some stretch on this side of the groin. So you're not getting a stretch from there, just shift this leg a bit further out until you're in position that you can feel a little bit of a light stretch down the inside of the groin. I like to ideally have the foot pointing forwards with the whole foot flat on the floor. That might be uncomfortable for the tissue on the outside of the foot. If it is, then you are able just to go into that position with the little toe lifted off the ground. So from there, sit back towards the feet. So you push the hips back, making sure your spine is lovely and neutral. Then we start our diaphragmatic breathing. So nice deep belly breaths. Inhale through the nose. Really expand the belly. Exhale through the mouth. Feel how during that exhale you can really relax the muscle that we're looking to stretch. So 2 more deep breaths. One more. Then carefully bring yourself out of position, and we'll switch over to the other side. Same thing, foot out to the side, try and go toe pointing forward. Get yourself set up so you can feel a light stretch pulling down the groin, then push into the floor, sit back so that stretch starts to ramp up ever so slightly. I'd say no more than a 7 out of 10 on a stretch scale, and then start the breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Really trying to get that exhale to relax the groin muscle. So think about the muscles switching off and relaxing. Use the breath. Notice how the breath can help to really unwind and get everything to calm down. If you want to spend a bit more time on either side, then by all means you can, but from there we're going to come out of the stretch and then move into a hip flexor stretch. For your hip flexor, you're going to need a chair. We're going to elevate the back leg onto the chair. So 1 foot elevated, and then from there into this position. If it's uncomfortable for the knee to be on the floor, then you can just fold the mat up. If that level of lift off is too aggressive, you can just bring the knee slightly further forward so it hasn't got the heel quite as close to the bottom. We're going to focus on a posterior pelvic tilt. So from the tailbone shifted up, we tuck the tailbone under, squeeze the glutes, feel how that gives us a big stretch down the front. In my position here, my left thigh feels a stretch. So the hips are set solid, the pelvis is set solid. From here, hands come up onto the collarbone, and we're going to twist away from the stretch. So making sure the pelvis and the hip doesn't twist with you. The hips stay fixed still. It's just the spine that twists, and then you start 3 nice deep diaphragmatic breaths from there. Always making sure the pelvis hasn't come round with you. So if anything, you're looking to push the pelvis away from the elbows to try and create opposite pelvis to ribcage rotation. At the end of your 3rd breath, carefully bring yourself out of position, change over onto the other side. Same thing, any discomfort in the knee, put the knee onto support, go into that pelvic tilt, hands up onto the collarbone. We rotate, same thing, the pelvis is twisted away from the ribcage. So actively pushing, for me, my right hip out to the right side as my elbows come to the left. And then from here, 3 deep, slow diaphragmatic breaths. Nice, carefully coming out of position, we're going to move into a glute stretch, but specifically doing a glute stretch to work on hip external rotation. So we're going to lie back on the ground. You would have done this before. We're going to put your towel or your band over either the foot, or you're going to come across the ankle itself. I'm going to choose to go for underneath the foot. Keep the foot pointing toward, or the toes pointing towards the knees, and then from here, pin yourself onto the ground. Shoulders set down, leg press into the floor. Using the free hand, block the knees, because the knee isn't coming in towards the nose. The idea here is we're going to twist. So we're going to pull the foot using either the band or the towel, and you're going to push the leg away. So from there, we're really rotating this hip into external rotation, feeling a nice deep capsule stretch here. And then from here, start the breathing. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Trying to really use that exhale to relax the hip capsule that you're stretching. 2 more deep breaths. On the exhale, push the knee away with the free arm and pull on the band or towel with the holding arm. 1 last deep breath. And then carefully come out of that position and change sides. So same thing as far as setup. You lie back. You can choose to hook the band around the foot or the ankle. The legs out straight, keep it active. Press into the ground. Make sure the toes are pointing towards the knee. You use the free arm to block the knee, and then from there we can work on that rotation. So we pull on the band. We push at the hip, and then we start the breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale, exhale. One last breath. At the end of that third exhale, relax and let the band go. And then the final stretch is going to be child's pose, which you might know from yoga. We're going to sit at the back of the mat, flare the knees, feet together. Hopefully it should feel comfortable enough to put your weight into the ankles that are plantar flexed in that position. Legs wide enough apart that your rib cage can come down between the thighs. Arms stay active throughout, so you're not just leaving the arms to totally dangle and relax. Walk those fingers across the mat, head hangs, bum stays low on the heels, and then we start the breathing from here. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Let your hips sink down onto your heels. Let your ribcage sink down towards the floor, but keep those arms long and active throughout. Deep inhale. Relax, exhale. 1 last deep breath. And then at the end of that last breath, you can bring yourself out. By all means, spend a little bit more time in the stretch, or you can do any stretches that you feel are a good fit for your body just to unwind that a little bit more.